TV series called 7th Street Theater.
It's different. It's not necessarily
And providentially on.
Trust the Holy Spirit, just like you.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Arias Wicker, and you're watching Christian Movie Connect. Today I have an interview with producer-director Arthur Anderson, who has a string of credits from Mission Impossible 2 and 3, Face Off, and Star Trek. Well, Arthur, thank you so much for being with us. Now, I know a lot of the people that are watching probably would want to know how you got started in the business.
Well, I actually started off as a stand-up comedian back in college in Columbia, South Carolina. And my roommate, who actually lived next door to me, we later became roommates, worked at radio stations. And we used to go record commercials when they went off the air at midnight. And then they became so popular, we were doing it for nightclubs, that advertising agencies asked us then to start doing it for their other clients. So we were doing everything from concrete, cars, to condominiums, to chicken food chains that were trying to compete with Colonel Sanders. And out of that, a film came into my hometown, and I cast a bunch of my day players in the film. And then the second week into the film, both assistant directors got sick, and they said, wow, who can run a film set? I raised my hand. So my second week in the business, I was running a film set. Went to New York, worked with great ADs and directors there with Billy Freak and Paul Mazursky. Came out to Hollywood on Urban Cowboy as a production assistant. Worked my way through the DGA, into the DGA for a second AD, first AD, started writing and directing half-hour episodic. Hooked up with John Woo in 1996 on Face Off, and been working with him ever since. And my job titles increased as I worked with him. Became his action writer. We'd tear the scripts apart, recreate all the action with the stunt coordinator, develop that. Then sometimes I'd direct second units. So, and then I was AD, so I'd be involved from writing the script to scheduling it, to conceptualizing it, and the storyboarding it, and then have to go on the set and actually make it happen. So it was a pretty big challenge. But John's a great guy to work with. He was a good teacher. And then when I'm not working with John, I assistant direct, second unit direct, and direct additional scenes on television shows. So had a really interesting, diverse career.
No more stand-up comedy?
No more stand-up comedy. I still write comedy. I'm actually working with a bunch of guys to find financing for micro-budget comedy or rom-com right now. It's a crossover picture that will appeal to both the faith and the secular market. Well, everybody likes to laugh, whether you're a Christian or not a Christian. Laughter transcends all languages, because you don't have to understand the language. Somebody's laughing to know it's funny.
That's right. Well, because you do have such a diverse background, because I do as well, and I run across a lot of people that do, and sometimes you know of some people, and they know exactly what they want to do, and they head in that path, and they keep going, and then there's other people that do a lot of different things. Do you think that there's value in being kind of multifaceted like that in the industry?
No, it really is, because here's the thing, is you never know what God's plan is for you. And he only gives you enough light to see that next stepping stone each day. And my experience has been he'll open a door he wants you to go through, if that's the direction he wants you to go through. If there's people he wants you to affect their lives in a positive way. So you may be working on a project that may have nothing to do with you as a filmmaker, but may have everything to do with someone who needs to be ministered to. Because a film crew is like your family. You see them for more hours a day than you see anyone else. People are going through divorces. They're having major illnesses. And when those people need help, sometimes God puts you in a position where you can put a strong arm around somebody and minister to them. And to help them say, hey, here's how I've dealt with this. And, you're not alone. Because that's the biggest thing. But the times we're going through with the big unemployment, bad weather, tornadoes ripping people's home up, your life being destroyed overnight. God looks for people to put in people's path when they need help, and we're in a time now where even more and more people need help. And that's why we're here. We're here to be ministers and to help spread the word that, there is a force out there greater than us that is a helpmate. And God gave us the Holy Spirit through his Son to come down to help us, So that, as a Christian, that's your mission in life. You're here to help people. And that's what I always look at. I always look at my film crew as my family, and I have my family too. So, but we're there to be ambassadors and to be helpful to people.
Yeah. Well, as a Christian in the industry, how have you seen yourself have an impact on the people that you've worked with?
Listen, you lead by example, and when there's a lot of chaos going on and you're the one calm presence in the middle of it all, people notice that and they come over and they ask you, all this chaos, because it's doing major action films is very complicated and it can be very dangerous. So when you're in a situation like that and there's a lot of chaos going on and, you're an example to people by not yelling and screaming at them. You encourage people. You bring people's talents up to their highest potential by trusting them to do their job. And so people notice it's all about your style of leadership. So if you encourage people, you're there for them, you encourage them to do their best, people notice that, and then they come and ask you, well, how can you be so calm under these circumstances? And the studio's yelling and screaming at you, and there's, they want you to get this done in this amount of time for this amount of money. You just tell them, well, I work for a higher executive producer than the guy who runs the studio, okay? And he gives me the wisdom and the knowledge to do it. And then they ask about, how you're like that, and how your walk, what got you to that point. And then you're able to share your testimony.
Well, tell me how you feel about some of the Christian films that are being made and maybe just some input that you might give to Christian filmmakers. Well,
here's the thing. I mean, there are different markets you make film for. So there's specific, say like you're going to make a Christian film with a faith message. There's a market for that. There are films that cross over that have a good moral story, but appeal to a faith audience and a secular audience. And those are the kind of films I'm working towards now. I'm developing a romantic comedy now because everybody likes to laugh, right? And so
I love romance.
Yeah, and so it all starts as a script. Whether you're whatever market you're appealing to, it's the faith market, it's a secular market. It's all about the story. So if you have a good story, you get the equipment and the actors to tell it well, you find an audience for it. But it all starts with the all-important script. So the advice I would give to people, spend as much time as you need, get the story right first before anything, because that's the blueprint that you're going to build your structure off of. If you don't have a good blueprint, your structure is going to fail.
Well, do you want to talk any more about some of the projects that you're getting ready to work on?
There's one that I just finished a music video with my daughter, who's a Christian artist, that with new technology, it was really fun shooting it because we shot with the Canon 7Ds. It's the first time I've done that. I've done some other minor shooting with 7Ds, but doing this music video with the new 7Ds has really been interesting because they're such small cameras. You can take them anywhere. And so I'm also developing a feature with the concept that I'm going to use those 7Ds to shoot the same way, because instead of a crew for, say, a micro-budget feature where you might need 40 people to do stuff with the smaller equipment now, you could do it with like 20 people and a 10-ton truck and a tow generator instead of having to have a 40-footer. And I mean, it just, the slinky gets, the longer the slinky is, the longer it's going to take you to get stuff done. So with the micro-budget filmmaking, what I'm looking at doing is getting the smaller slinky, less equipment, so you can shoot on location, you can move faster, so that you're spending your money not so much on the infrastructure of the equipment, but on good actors in good locations. And and so you see more studios doing that. You see Lionsgate. I mean, I think they're slated to do 10 micro-budget films this year, $2 million, and they say, well, we don't even care who the actors are in it. We just know that we're not going to. So what if we lose $2 million? And the chances for financial success are so much greater because you put a smaller investment into it. And so it's much easier now in these terrible financial times to raise money for micro-budget features than it is, because the investors have a much greater chance of getting their money back because they're putting less money into it.
Yeah, and you can still make a quality film for those types of budgets.
With the technology out there now and the visual effects seminar I hosted this morning, hearing those guys talk what you can do on your laptop now. I mean, it doesn't take a lot of money to put good visual effects in a movie now.
That's right. Well, you spoke of the music video with your daughter. I just met her, and she's a very beautiful young lady. Tell me about her music.
Well, she's a Christian artist, but she's doing crossover stuff that's going to appeal to both the secular and the faith market now. And she has this new single coming out, Do You Know My Name? Now, it was born out of a lot of trials she went through. She had a lot of physical challenges and some questions she was asking God as she was going through these challenges. So it's really a heartfelt song put in a pop context. So it'll be it's a new type of faith music that's coming out that's going to appeal because of the music to the pop market, but it has a faith message to it. So I was really excited. It was really different because the way she'd originally written it was as a ballad several years ago. And we did a small test video for it, and then she hooked up with a good producer who said, "Here's what's happening now. I just want to encourage you to change this." And what they did with this song was amazing. So I'm excited. It'll probably be out in a couple of months or so.
Okay, and her name, so we'll be looking for this.
Michelle Marie Anderson.
Michelle Marie Anderson. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being with us. Do you have anything else you want to add?
That's pretty much it. I mean, for those young filmmakers who are out there, listen, there's no better time than now. And the technology is so inexpensive that if you have a good story and, you get a couple of friends together, I mean, I've used the guys from Biola Media College before to come out and do projects, to get together with your friends. I mean, you shoot it on these small HD cameras, you put it on YouTube. There's so many distribution avenues now to get your message out there. I just encourage you, get out there, experiment, because that's what it's all about, and all it's going to cost you is your time,
That's right. Well, thank you so much.
Hey,
We
so good to
appreciate
talk
it.
to you.
Thanks for watching Christian Movie Connect. We'll see you next week.